Welcome to the downside. Russ, you shower?
I showered right before, seconds before I left the apartment. So my hair, but now it's wet with sweat.
It's also kind of raining out, so
Yeah.
For those tuning in for the first time, this is I'm working on my intro. This is a place we give me negative, complain, bitch, moan, kvetch, and we are here with the third time guest, first third time formal guest.
Oh my God, do I get like a little jacket or something?
That's 5. We're doing the SNL system here.
Okay, you're just gonna keep it directly there thing.
Yeah.
Got it.
But then every 5 after you have to return for that episode for a brief cameo.
Okay.
With the jacket. We need something like a jacket. Yeah. What would be the equivalent?
And Candice Bergen will be there too.
Who's that?
She always goes to the thing. That's kind of all she does now, I think.
Yeah, Candice Bergen, I would love to tell you, Gianmarco, Candice Bergen is an iconic actress who
Murphy Brown.
Yeah, Murphy Brown. Or hey, here's what I'll do for you. She was the pageant director on Miss Congeniality.
Okay. I saw Miss Congeniality recently.
Wait, but do you not know what Murphy Brown is?
No, you guys, well, I was about to say you're older than me. Caleb's younger than both of us
Murphy Brown,
combined.
like, it was, I mean, I didn't watch it, but it felt like everyone knows what it is, though.
Okay, let me guess. It's a law show?
No, I just mean like she is Murphy Brown.
Soap
like,
opera?
It's just like, I don't know, like it's like saying like, I don't know who Tim the Toolman Taylor is. Never heard of it. Never watched it.
Murphy
you know
Brown
what I mean?
is like a 30, like they parodied it on 30 Rock or it was of a different time. What, you watched the show?
It's in the 90s,
You
though,
guys
right?
are falling apart.
Yeah.
I've been, like you said, this is my third time on the show and you guys are absolutely falling apart.
I wanted to share, I hope Russell will oblige me. So Russell, you get texts from Joe Biden.
I get texts from Joe Biden a lot.
So do I. Thank you for your service.
Yeah.
And Russell sent me a screenshot. Russell is, so I was surprised at this. Russell's the kind to write back to the robot.
I'm not normally, but they sent me the same like quiz that they've been sending me. They sent me a quiz and I said he's doing a bad job.
Oh, I got it right here. We just quoted.
I'm giving you context before this even happened. So they sent me the quiz. I said he's doing a bad job. And then all the rest of the questions though were like only phrased in a way that you could say he's at least pretty
good. Do you think
good.
he's really young or spry for his age?
Yeah. Do you love the way he finishes his sentences?
So I answered the quiz that one day. I don't know why. And then the next day they sent me the same exact quiz and text. So then
so Russell wrote back, I took the poll already and said he's doing a bad job. I will only vote for this man if he stops funding a genocide. So then they texted Russell. I think it's so funny. This is the language that they use to inspire donations.
I know. Here's what they said.
Joe Biden is getting pummeled in the polls. Your personal invite to confirm your vote for Biden expires in 60 minutes. Fast.
So then I responded, and then they sent me.
They sent you again. Joe
Biden
Biden
is getting pummeled.
Yikes. And then you said, yikes, is he in charge of this text campaign too?
Do you know what my favorite one recently was? Because I do think about their fundraising emails a lot. I worked in Democratic fundraising briefly and always thought it was horribly annoying, like the way you have to do it. But the day that Trump got indicted or convicted, Joe Biden's team sent an email that the subject was apropos of nothing.
Oh.
and the body was, seems like a decent time to donate to us. I'm like, I'll kill you.
Do you think that was algorithmically like designed for you, or do you think everyone got that? Feels very like, hey, cool kids.
Hey, I don't know, but I'm like, it just isn't hitting when you're like signing off on bombs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just not really. The tongue-in-cheek thing is a little played out at this moment.
What's the language aside from, of course, the subject being like, hey, Joe Biden from the river to the sea? Other than that, like what language tone could he use that would make you go, okay? Are you leaning towards patriotism? Are you leaning towards not sassy, clearly?
Yeah.
What would, because right now the thing is like, hey guys, we're fucking losing bad.
Yeah.
And that doesn't inspire me.
I think he could continue to send the exact emails he's sending now and then just not support the genocide. And I would
yes, agreed.
Agreed. Oh, okay, hold on. Hey, actually, wait. I'm going to give you guys something. Will you replace when I said I'll kill you about the president and make it say I'll kiss you? Just so everyone knows I'm a good Democrat.
Yeah.
I don't know about the fundraising emails. I mean, I guess don't send them at all. I'm not going to send you. I'm not sending money to politicians anymore. I stopped doing that in like 2016.
Yeah, no.
That's over.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm not sending any
They always
politicians
say get money
emails.
out of politics. Okay.
You what?
They always say get money out of politics. I'm like, okay.
I'm going to do. Hey, I'm starting with the man in the mirror.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm not saying candidates, no more money.
Yeah.
This is the
yourself.
downside.
1, 2, 3. Downside. You're listening to The Downside.
The Downside.
With Gianmarco Soresi.
We are here with a guest producer, David. Right on time with that cue. I realized we didn't prep it, and I was like, I'm pointing at you, and I thought you were going to go and just laptop fine, but you nailed it. You nailed it. This is The Downside. If you're a fan of the show, join the Patreon, patreon.com/downside. Bonus episodes, live episodes. We announced on our last episode our live tour. A lot of things going on.
Yeah.
Where are you guys going? How many cities?
Short little stint, Philly, Boston, DC, New York.
New York.
What are you guys making on Patreon? Tell the listeners.
It's public. It's nothing huge. I think right now we're making $1,500 a month.
Oh, you went for like the actual. Okay.
What do you think I was gonna lie?
You told the truth. Is your guys' number public?
No, the number of people is public.
Is the money not public?
No, man. That's just you throwing that out there.
Well, you
into
can do the
world.
math.
Which way? What do you think?
Yeah, you could, but some people do 5,
Guys,
some people do 10.
We are getting pummeled in the Patreon numbers right now, and we need your support.
Apropos of nothing.
Hey, bitch.
The Downside could use some patrons. God.
Well, you started a podcast and quickly soared to the top.
Yeah.
Podcast is doing okay.
You just had your mom. I was
Okay.
listening to your mom's episode.
What'd you think of it?
You know what? I'm gonna say I was a little attracted to your mom. Your mom in the clips, she had something. You know, she has like a spark. Like there's a quality to her that's attractive.
Just so you know, Russell says this about every guest mom.
No, I don't.
That comes on.
No, I don't.
I know.
Your mom's intimidating to me sexually, but like but Caleb's mom, just there's something there.
She has an effervescence
Yes,
to her.
yes.
Yeah. She's very charming.
Yeah.
My mom is very charming. I will give her that.
Yeah.
No, the episode was really, really fun and interesting. My mom and I have had a lot of conversations like that one. We're very, very close, but it was fun to do one for the podcast. I didn't know how it would go. I didn't know if people would really care. If it was like an inside baseball thing or if people would be like, oh, it's interesting.
Yeah. I thought it was funny though, because in one of the clips you talked to your mom about does she ever wish at some point she would try eating pussy, and I thought like I'm also comfortable talking to my mom about those things in a way that sometimes people from the outside are like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, people didn't like that. People
They
didn't like that.
They
at all.
didn't.
No, people were commenting, "This is not a way to talk to your mother." I'm like, "What? Do you?"
He's not eating. I mean, you're not like doing something to her.
Yeah, I'm like, she and I aren't gonna hook up. Like, we're just talking about a thing that I'm here because she had sex with some guy. That's the genesis of our relationship.
Yeah.
I don't know. People are so weird and conservative about parenthood. I think it's like my mom. Yeah, I don't know. My mom is just like my buddy.
Yeah, I don't know I think it's just they grow up and you don't talk about it at all, so it feels so foreign. But when your parents, especially when your parents are single at any point in your childhood, like you deal with them. Do they go on a date? Like the idea of is sex happening? It exists in the space, and you have to confront it.
Yeah, and also maintaining. I think there's a very conservative thing about maintaining a parent-child like high status, low status dynamic into your adult life. It's like I'm not to say when exactly it should happen. I think it probably varies per person, but like at some point, you and your parent should move into a different type of relationship than like you being scared to tell them about your life choices or them being scared to talk to you about like at some point you need to move to a place where it's like more of a friendship. I do think that's appropriate.
Yeah, I think some people still want that caretaker, or they want someone who if you know about someone's sex life, you know about their flaws, you know about their shortcomings, you know about things about them that might turn you off.
Yeah.
And like some people I think just want that like godlike figure of like a parent who can comfort them and they can go, is everything going to be okay? And the parent goes, yes, and you believe it.
Yeah, you want to hold them in that same esteem because it helps you.
Yeah, but then I think it makes it more jarring too. Like if they do that, then when they have to caretake for them, you're like, oh fuck, we're fully reversing this, rather than gradually getting on the same plane and then having to do the caretaking thing.
Do you know what's interesting that I was thinking about from the mom episode that we didn't obviously talk about in the episode because it was kind of a result, is like anytime there's something interesting. I had a bad my dad was bad at being a father, right? My mom is incredible at being a mother. When I talk about my dad being bad at parenthood, no one would ever to your face go, oh, my dad's incredible. So I have a great dad. But when you talk about having a good relationship with a parent, people who have like mommy issues or like bad mothers, which exist, they are so comfortable being like, yeah, not all moms are like that. Like, it's kind of like the long Mother's Day post of someone who has an estranged mom where they're like, just so everyone knows, like, today, like, if you do not love your mom, like, that is okay. You don't have, it's like, maybe just wait until tomorrow.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think you, like, the way people will make their parent issues so presently your problem is so weird to me.
Yeah.
Gianmarco, stone
I'm one of those
cold
people.
Stone cold silent.
Yeah.
No, I get what you're saying. I'm just like, I'm trying to think about like, what is the pain that they feel that they need, or what? Yeah, it just sucks. I think it's more not. It doesn't suck. I think it's just like sometimes you witness people with their parental relationships, and you go like, wow, that must have been so nice.
Yeah, and I know that feeling because I have that with dads. You know,
of course.
So I just would never, when someone, like if someone put out a podcast episode where they're being very happy and comfortable with their mom. Yeah. Or there was like a clip of my mom saying like mothers love their children so much because they're a part of each other. They share cells. Mm-hmm. And she was talking in a blanket way about motherhood because it's the only way she's ever been a mom is good at it. Yeah. And people are commenting and being like, fucking false. I wish my mom had heard this.
All moms are.
Truly. Yeah. And I was like, oh God, like, okay, drag my mom for being incredible at motherhood. I don't, like, what are we accomplishing here?
Yeah. Did she say anything that caught you off guard, or can your mom still hurt your feelings?
No, my mom can't hurt my feelings. I mean, I guess she could. There are things she could say that would, but nothing she would ever do would hurt my feelings. She wouldn't behave that way. You know what I mean?
You started with a great story about, if you wouldn't mind sharing this TV incident when you were...
Yeah, the Christmas I was ungrateful, all caps. Yeah, she only brought that up to me very recently. And Russell, I don't know if you saw that part or not, but there was this Christmas where we grew up very poor. Like, there were like times that we didn't have money for food. Like, we were very, very poor.
Yeah, forgive me. Did you go back and forth with your mom and dad?
No, I was full with my mom, and then like every couple weekends I would go spend the weekend with my dad.
Okay.
But my mom was a single mom raising 2 kids by herself, putting herself through nursing school, working 3 jobs. Crazy shit. And yeah, I really wanted a TV for Christmas in my bedroom because all my, like, not all my friends, but my rich friends, Missouri rich, had TVs in their bedrooms. So I asked for that for Christmas. And my mom like worked extra shifts and like went to fucking like Black Friday at Walmart and like fought people to get me a little TV for my room for Christmas. It was a big thing for her to do. And when I opened it, I was disappointed because it was like pretty small. It was a small TV. Like, I want to say it was like...
How small are we talking?
It was like small enough that it definitely, like, you would have a hard time putting a smile on if you were 13 as well. It was small and you're 13 and you've seen what a real TV looks like. I don't know, Cal.
Yeah. Like, was it like so small you could like pick it up with a little handle with one hand?
It was so small and so cheap that they wouldn't even dare, like, they wouldn't deign to give you a handle. You know what I mean? Like, it was just tiny, and it was lovely. It was perfectly good for a child's bedroom. But at the time I opened it, and it's not like I was like, oh my God, you crazy bitch, what were you thinking? I just was like, and she could tell. And she only recently brought this up to me that she cries when she talks about it. She was like, that broke my heart. I worked so hard. And she's like, you went to your bedroom and cried. And the reason I cried was actually, I explained to her, like, I wasn't crying about the TV. I was crying because I was closeted and depressed and nothing was making me happy. At that point in my life, things that had made me so happy before, like songs that I liked or like playing soccer or like anything that I enjoyed, was not making me happy anymore, which now I know was like full grade depression. But I didn't have words for that. And no one in my family talked about that stuff either. And they were all mentally ill as well. My dad's one of the most mentally ill people I've ever met. So I was crying because I knew that I should be happy and I wasn't.
I had that. My dad would go to New York and he'd like go on some big money trip, I'm sure, to sleep with whoever he was cheating on with. But he'd come back and always bring a gift. And he brought a video game, Star Fox, I think it was called. And it was just like a game that I hated or whatever. And it was one of those moments where I was supposed to be like excited and grateful, and I felt such shame that I didn't. Yeah. And I went in my room and I cried. Yeah. And then he came by and I told him. And looking back, I also think there was a degree of like, oh, he doesn't know anything. I think it was a moment of seeing a gift where he didn't know anything about me. He was just buying a weird thing that he thought, was on the shelves. Yeah. But I remember getting a gift that you don't want is awful, or that's not right.
And you also don't have that emotional regulation where you're like, I have been happy at something like this before. I know I should be happy. I am not. What is going on? So I went to my room and cried, and I asked her, like, maybe the time before the podcast episode when we had talked about this at lunch, that she randomly brought it up at lunch. I was like, what did you do the rest of the day? And she's like, I went to my room and cried. And I was like, oh, so we were just both in our rooms crying. Fantastic. But yeah, it was that shit like that I'm trying to think. You said, is there anything she said on the episode that surprised me?
Yeah, or that you really didn't realize. Like when I talk with my mom, so much when we get into it, so much is just a contextualization of my father. I learned so much about my father and kind of the lies or just the framing. It feels like you're learning history in America and then going to Japan and learning their perspective of things.
Yeah.
It's just so different. And you go, oh
my God.
Well, that changes it. And he was the kind of the bad guy in this thing.
Yeah, I think the one thing that she talked about in that episode that surprised me was how much I don't even know if shame is the right word, but she was feeling raising us a lot of probably shame and guilt around us not having a 2-parent household and money. Like those things, like those my friends who had 2 parents in the house and had money, we had neither, and I definitely felt shame about that, but I thought that I was wrong for feeling that. And I think in a way it is a wrong feeling, but it is something that you feel. And she was processing a lot of that too. And we never talked about it, even though we were both feeling it. Because of course I wasn't going to go to her and be like, hey, I hate that we're poor. Could you step it up? You know?
Sure.
And the men she dated, I did not want to stick around. So I definitely was like, don't try to fix that part, you know?
How many, did she bring a lot of guys in your life over the years?
Yeah, did she have like a rule of like when she introduced you?
Other than the no eating pussy rule.
Yeah, so she has that one. I don't know if she had a rule about when she brought them to me. My mom is a really giving person, and I think she sees the best in people. And so even at a young age, she would bring a guy around and I could just immediately put it all together. I was like, you're going to try to fix this guy. He's a piece of shit. Like she would take on somebody who was like, you know, he would always have one fatal flaw, like an Achilles. He would have like, he'd be super charming. He'd have great taste in music. He'd be a really cool guy to hang out with. And then he'd be like a horrible drunk, you know, or just one thing that she was convinced that she could like love him out of. And I just from the start would be like, this ain't going to work, girl.
What age did your parents split up again?
They were never together.
Yeah. Were you at any point when you were younger and a new guy brought in, you attached to him, or were you like standoffish from the get?
Oh, I would say when I was younger, there was probably a guy or two that I was like, oh, this might work out. That there was definitely a guy when I was in like 8th grade. My mom got together with a guy for several years that we moved in with, and he had 2 daughters.
Wow.
That they were engaged to be married, and his daughters are still to this day. I just was at a wedding celebration for one of they're my sisters. Like we still consider each other family.
Really?
Oh yeah,
that's
we're
incredible.
Very close.
I have a couple my dad's ex's kids that we have a relationship.
Yeah.
You know, they see the show when I'm in town.
Yeah, they come through. They get some comp tickets.
Listen, shows do that to your life. They give you a little bit of a focal point to like it's not an authentic thing. You know, they're coming to see you talk and you go, hi.
Yeah. But you go to Connecticut and you go, oh, these people I had a relationship with I'm catching up with them. Probably wouldn't otherwise. Yeah, these Abby and Taylor, shout out Abby and Taylor, love you guys.
They're already listeners.
What do you say?
They're already listeners.
They're big downsiders. They're big Debbie Downers. What do you guys call your fans?
Debbie Downsiders.
Debbie Downsiders. Yeah, they're tremendous. They like at a very pivotal time in my life when I like was very self-hating and like trying to still be in the closet and was like, you know, trying to be Christian and like pray the gay away. They were 2 people who like showed me cool music and were like, that shit you're doing is lame. Like you need to fucking stop.
Did you tell them you were trying to pray the gay away?
No, I was closeted to them, and they very much from Jump Street were like, okay, honey, whatever. Like they knew I was gay.
Really?
And they were such cool girls. They still are. They're such cool girls. They have the best taste in music, the best taste in TV shows. Like they just were so much cooler than me in every conceivable way. And they kind of like ushered me into like who I eventually became. Like they made me like a cool person with good taste.
I had a friend in high school who was like a good friend for a little, me and a woman, and he was just so clearly gay.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember it never came to fruition in high, or like he never came out in high school.
Mm-hmm.
But it was one of these things where it was like, I certainly would have never said a single thing, but me and the woman, of course, would be like, well, clearly, he's gay. This has to occur at some point for him to be, because he was also miserable.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know. I don't know what you'd say. I don't know what I would have said back then, even now with perspective.
I remember one specific moment where they had this gay friend who was like an out gay guy in like his 20s or something. We were probably like, maybe I was 16. They were like 17 and 19.
Mm-hmm.
And he like came over to the house for a hangout, and it was just the four of us. And I can put together now. At the time, I was just really uncomfortable, but I can put together now that they were like, "Hey, you need to like talk really positively about being a gay guy on purpose and see if we can get him to come out to us." Because he was very much like, "Yeah, the first time I hooked up with a guy, like, what about you, Caleb?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't do that." You know, it was very like now I'm looking back and going, they were dead. It was an intervention, you know, but it did not take.
That's a fun intervention, just constantly. Why are you always bringing gay guys around the house?
Yeah, truly.
Just talk to them.
Yeah,
It sounds fun. I wish I was gay.
Yeah, Derek's coming over. Derek's coming over, and we're gonna watch some films. You know, they put on the Normal Heart. Yeah, I think that I would be a much different person had I not lived with those girls for that time. So that I didn't like that guy that much, but I loved his daughters, and that was a fun time to live with them.
And when you moved out of that house, was that upsetting? Did you like, how did your mom explain that it wasn't working out?
It was pretty easy to explain. He went to jail. So that guy went to jail.
The cops told you.
He got like 17 DUIs or something.
Oh, no.
And they finally were like, "Hey man, it's jail time." And so
That's the cop.
So
it's
many
17,
DUIs.
man. I'm sorry.
that kind of how that's in Missouri. It is a little bit like that. It's just the cops being like, "Damn, brother, we get it, but I think we have to send you to jail for a little bit." Like everyone's got at least one DUI out there.
17 strikes and you're out. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he got a couple, and so he went to jail, and then went for like a year, and my mom waited on him and took care of his house.
Did you visit him at jail ever?
No, she did, but I didn't like him, and also my mom wouldn't have had me do that. Like, wouldn't have probably let me, even if I wanted to. She took care of his house. She the girls stayed there and stayed in school. She basically ran everything for him while he was in jail. And then the idea was he was going to be sober when he got out, and he got out and started drinking immediately again and got caught. And my mom was like, "We're out of here." Oh. And I was pretty happy about it because he was that guy sucked. I didn't like him. His vibes were bad. Great taste in music though, which is important to me. He showed me some really good music. He really turned me on to Otis Redding and Ray LaMontagne and Johnny Lang, blues and soul. So I appreciate him for that. Yeah. Guys who drink, they're gonna have good taste in blues.
Yeah, dad's really responsible for music taste. I like some oldies, some Led Zeppelin. My dad was really into disco and Led Zeppelin stuff.
He listened to Elvis exclusively, and then the worst country pop, whatever's just playing on the country pop. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
really.
Elvis, and that's it. Nothing.
Like a shitload of Elvis all the time.
Loved Elvis. Went to one of the last.
Do you like it?
I mean, yeah, it's fine. It's not my big thing. I think it's sometimes when you're introduced to something that's so a part of growing up, you're not able to hear it in a way that's if I could hear the Beatles without having it be in every single fucking thing, it would be cool to hear that. But you just already know it. So, but I like some of it. But
you saw the last Elvis,
one of the last things before he died.
Those last shows, every time you see old Elvis, it looks like he's going to die in the middle of the show. Yeah. He's just sweating, barely looks like he can stand. There's one, he puts the mic in his mouth, almost chokes on it. He was fucked up.
Yeah.
I want to do some shows like that right before I go.
Yeah,
I want to do some real
comedy shows?
I want to do some or music. Who knows what I might do by then?
Yeah.
But I really want to do some shows where people are imminently he's going.
Yeah.
If I knew I was about to die on stage, I think I'd throw myself in for a crowd surf, and I die midair.
Really?
And then they crowd surf and they realize as they're surfing me around that I'm dead.
Not me. I want to die on stage, and make sure everyone can see it, and it burns brightly into their eyes.
So what kind of
that's so traumatic to watch someone die?
Well, so okay,
stage?
are you doing one of these? Because this has happened where they go to sit on the stool,
and then
they
slump.
Or do you want to
loud as possible?
I want to die in an interesting way. That's what I've been saying lately.
Yeah,
that's all I want.
Mean?
Something interesting. I don't care when. I'm
not traumatic.
Not necessarily. I'm not. I'm having a great time being alive, truly, but I'm not addicted to staying around. I wouldn't be I don't want to go anywhere. I like being here. I'd like to live a long life. But my only goal for my death is I want it to be something interesting. I want to jump on a grenade and save a bus full of school children, or I want to parachute. I want to parachute in some random foreign country and get caught in a tree.
I like the idea that you jumping on the grenade, your body would prevent the grenade from.
It would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the middle of the bus.
It would save some people.
I would say, first of all, First of all, it would do that with anyone's body, but I think we have to take a look at the evidence and go, this is a body that would do some I mean, just mass wise, this is a body that would do some shielding.
Yeah, our bodies would shield more than yours, but I think like
me and those kids are fucking.
No, not some of those kids would be saved even with you.
Sure.
Like, you know, yeah.
I think grenades.
It absorbs the blast. Gianmarco?
We're not talking about.
I'm not
we're not
doing
talking
this with
about,
you?
Yeah.
You're wrong.
We're talking about a standard grenade. We're not talking about whatever the U.S.
So
is
you
sending to the
didn't mean an
IDF.
interesting death. You meant like a hero's death.
No, hero's death is one version. It's an umbrella situation. It's a squares and rectangles. Hero's death falls under interesting death.
Okay.
But my interesting death does not have to fall under hero's death.
I tell you what, I do not want to be eaten.
Okay.
I don't. I mean, that when I think anytime you hear a story about someone getting eaten by bear, tiger, alligator, shark, it seems awful. Like
Yeah.
it just that's. I mean, it's interesting.
As long as it's quick, as long as they get me in the jugular or something, I would take it.
I don't think those are quick.
I don't want to die in a funny way.
Like how? Like
I don't
slipping
care.
out of a banana
Falling
peel?
from a
Piano fall or like yeah, I don't want to
piano
like.
falling that's an interesting.
Getting
That's
lost.
a good death.
That's the
Getting
kind of
lost
That's
like a buffoon.
Exactly. That's the kind of interesting I don't want. Like I don't want to be on Instagram Live being like, I hope there's not an active shooter in this grocery store, and then I get active shot. No, like that would piss me off. That I'm like a meme. I don't want to be a meme, dude.
Yeah.
That would really fucking piss me off.
that feeling when you're worried there's an active shooter, and there is.
Or I'm carrying like 17 pizzas and I slip on a banana peel and someone
Yeah.
captures it on video, like a Ring camera, and I hit my head in a way that kills me.
And all those Twitter accounts, it's just a picture of you, like the last picture taken of Caleb before he slipped on the banana peel and died
Yeah.
immediately.
Yeah.
Fucking, that would kill me.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to be a joke.
Yeah.
Like all those people from that Spike TV show, like you know.
Oh, 1,000 Ways to Die?
Yeah,
I've never seen it. It just sounds off. That's the kind of thing that triggers.
Yeah, it's
me.
like somebody masturbates with a raw carrot and they die from a bacterial infection, and then everyone's like, you can die from masturbating with a carrot. It's like that person
my
actually
God.
really died. That's
they
horrible.
contributed to the science of knowing that.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought of that.
I love
Well, don't
carrots.
jerk off with a carrot.
I'm probably closest to that. I love
Are you guys
carrots
doing
so
butt
much.
stuff?
Not really.
In what sense?
Like it's sexually? Are
Not
you guys-
together.
well, because the other day we talked about this on the Patreon episode. We can bring it up now. We were walking to a venue,
Oh, yeah.
and someone on the street said, "Which one of you takes it up the ass?"
To us.
Well, I'm sorry to say, definitely the one in the rainbow berries tank top.
I'm so glad.
If you guys
I
were a
bought
gay,
this-
if you guys were a gay
That's
couple,
what I said. I said, well, you were wearing a Cola Scola O'Mary shirt at the time. I had a headband on. But
the guy was perplexed. He could not. He could not calculate which.
He
of
was
the two
mad
of us.
about it too, though.
I used to have a joke about that when people ask which one's the girl and which one's the boy, I'm like, the one wearing the Britney Spears t-shirt does what you think he does. Like you can almost always tell by looking. Like it's like there's a clear bottom. Like you guys would be a beautiful gay couple.
Well, answer his question, Russell.
I've tried and I haven't found success in a way that is
How have you tried?
meaningful. Like, I mean,
Couple fingers, a
couple
strap
fingers.
on.
No, nothing serious.
I want to tell you that you're missing. I want to tell any guys listening who are not doing butt stuff. Assign male at birth people.
Mm-hmm.
There is a thing going on in your butt that it will make you come so hard.
Can I tell you why the idea of a strap on doesn't appeal to me?
Yes, you can.
Is
He's like, no.
No.
No, an interview is over.
Turn it off.
So my theory has always been like, if I were to try like other than fingers, whatever.
Yeah. You'd become gay.
No.
Okay.
Is that I would sooner have quite the opposite. I'd say I'd sooner with a guy doing it than a woman because listen. I know.
We're all so tired.
I know, Caleb. But here's why.
Why?
Because if I'm going to be experiencing that, which I understand, I'm familiar with the sensations. There's a vulnerability of like, making noises and whatnot, and I want the other person to be in a similar state if they're going to witness me in that vulnerable state. So it's kind of like feeling like you're high with someone who's sober and you feel self-conscious because of that. So that there's something about pegging where I understand.
Can she not though?
You could get a double, you can get a rub, but it's not the same thing.
I mean, Gianmarco.
Sorry, I'm just explaining. I'm explaining myself.
Like a double strap on, or like a strap on that has like a vibrating base, it would be effectively the same thing. I think you've created a reality where you don't have to fully experiment. And I think, Russell, your hands are not clean here either. You boys...
Because he's busy figuring himself.
Quite literally.
Before I come for episode number 4, I want you guys to come from butt stuff.
But we have listen. We've done more than most.
Level. How do we know? No, I think most people. Not most, but I think
I don't think so. I think there's a lot of guys who don't even wash. They don't even put soap. They're so scared.
True. That's true.
Yeah.
But I do remember seeing Chris Rock had a movie called Top 5.
I do remember seeing Chris Rock get that.
I saw Chris Rock
get cum
from anal stimulation.
And it was this movie where it was like some woman that he like was in love with, but she had a boyfriend. And there was a montage towards the end where she put a finger up his ass once, and then suddenly that's all he wanted. And then it was time for sex. She got all sexy, came out of the bathroom, and he was like on all fours on the bed, like, hi. And the implication was very much, once you do this, you'll be gay.
Yeah.
And I can tell that's
certainly that to heart.
That's something ingrained. There's something deep in the DNA of it.
He said Chris Rock is right on this.
Yeah.
No, but there's something deep, like societal, that even if I'm progressive in my mind, something deep about the idea of getting pegged that feels there's something about me that pushes it away.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's good.
I will say
I'm
this:
just
you
saying
have
it's
to
there.
commit to like getting the materials and like
That's
spending
another
some
thing.
money on it. It's not like something you can like rent or be like, maybe you got to really commit before you try it.
And you don't want to go cheap. Gotta
No, you want to get
breaks
the good
off.
stuff. Yeah.
This is why it's so much easier to just have a guy involved.
Well,
Just bring a guy in.
This
what he
is back to my earlier
Yeah.
point that you rolled your eyes at.
Yeah, well, I
We're
just like
back
to be
here.
confrontational with you.
But
It doesn't matter my actual
You've never with a
values.
strap on.
No, I'm not even bottoming that much. I just like to bring straight guys into the conversation.
Do any gay guys do it? They ever go, sometimes I can't get it up. I'll have a strap on, just back up.
I don't know. That's not happening to me at this current juncture. But if I ever have a problem getting it up, I guess maybe I would get a strap on. That'd be nice. Kind of outsource that work.
I want a strap on, but there's an indent where if I can't get it up, I can put it in the indent and feel like it's mine.
One more time?
Yeah. Say that. Describe that.
Do that again for me.
contraption
We
again.
need, because guys, we can't have it would be tough for us to wear a strap on because we got, the penis in the way.
Uh-huh.
You mean
So
like
if
a
there
hollow?
was a hollow, so I could
Yeah.
like
A reverse.
armor,
Sure that
like
exists.
armor or a,
So you can lay your softie in there.
yeah, and feel
then-
like
Yeah.
this is me.
I'm virile. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've got
It
a
must
big...
exist.
I'm sure it exists.
All of these things must exist.
Oh, these
Yeah.
things all exist. People are so progressive now.
Yeah.
Which is beautiful.
But
Yeah.
by spending, there's something about spending money on a thing. Like I bought a fleshlight in high school,
Yeah.
but I haven't bought anything since, really.
Yeah.
In terms of like, I always see the ads and it's some like machine that you put it on. It does
Yeah.
all the work. And I'm
Did
like,
you go and-
$130. I couldn't possibly.
Did you go in person to buy the fleshlight?
No, I got those online when I was younger. Shipped them to my dad's.
Mm.
They send it to you with no labeling, so
Yeah.
you feel like.
I ran into a high school director at a porn shop once. Not my high school director. It was from someone like from a community theater setting. Just want to clear up. My high school choir director was like a nice conservative Christian, lovely
Yeah.
person.
Just the way you
Never
like
had
them.
sex once.
No. But I'm just saying, like, this was someone else, a community theater person. But it was awkward enough where I was in high school with friends, and we were like doing that thing where you go and you're just like giggling and stuff. And
Yeah.
and then, but he was there.
He was really there. He wasn't giggling with anybody.
He was not giggling.
Stone cold.
He was doing business there. He had many business things to attend to there.
He's holding the
and you're
strap
just
onto
like,
the light.
hi, and you're just, oh yeah.
He said hi to you?
Yeah, I mean, it was like there was no way around it. Like we like came across each other like face to face. You
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
I mean, no one did anything wrong there.
No one did anything wrong.
Everyone's
but it was
just-
quite shocking at the time when you're in high school.
Of course. I'm sorry to say that when Gianmarco, when you said that you got a fleshlight in high school, my brain went, I didn't know that they had them when you were in high school. Like I didn't. I really genuinely was trying to do the math, and I was like, did they have them when I was in high school? I didn't know that
You thought back in my day we were doing the American Pie way.
I genuinely did not know that fleshlights have been around that long. And this happens to me pretty often. Like I'm a little bit stupid, and like I'm not stupid overall. I think I'm a smart person, but like I'll be watching, like I was watching The Crown, you know, and it's maybe it's like the 50s or 60s in one part of it, and a dog ran up, and a genuine part of my brain went,
You thought they were still wolves back then?
I just was kind of like, oh, I guess they did have dogs back then. Like it really.
Oh yeah.
There's a part of me that was like, oh shit, yeah, they would have had dogs then.
Yeah.
Which is like so obvious and stupid of me, but I can't have any concept sometimes of like, I just the other day was watching Sex and the City. There was an episode from like 2000, big jar of Nutella. I thought that came out in like
no.
2014.
You know what?
That kind of blows
This
my
happened to me
mind.
one. I was watching an old episode of I Love Lucy, and what's her husband's name?
Ricky.
Ricky. So he comes home with a big fleshlight, and Lucy.
You're so stupid. I hate you.
That would be a great episode of I Love Lucy.
Instead of the
I
chocolate
hate
factory, she's
you.
working at the fleshlight factory.
Fleshlight factory.
She's got to figure each one as it's going by.
She can't
That
figure it
is,
fast
that is a
enough.
part of the job at the fleshlight factory. You have to finger each one.
I'm sure you got to make sure it opens. You got to make sure it goes all the way in.
Well, someone could get hurt.
You know where they show you? It's like on Twitter, they show someone who's really good at their job, and they like, they just they flick 100 tomatoes into each box, but it's just someone who knows how to finger them completely.
You got to make sure there's nothing at the bottom that's sharp. Yeah.
Yeah. What a disaster! Recalled fleshlight. There's a set of dentures at the bottom of it.
My God.
Oh my god. Cut all this, okay? Cut this whole moment.
You know how they make they'll make like dildos that are molded after.
Yeah,
they make
people's
fleshlights like
penises,
molded
people's
after
pussies.
people's
Yeah.
pussies or penises.
Yeah.
Would you ever saw? What if that's the downside merch? you could get.
Oh.
I'm trying to
Guys.
figure out new merch ideas that I just feel like that would be
think-
so fresh.
Keep thinking. I think keep thinking.
Keep spitballing.
Yeah, hey.
We'll keep spitballing.
Let's get a whiteboard in here.
Yeah.
Let's do a little bit more brainstorming. You know what's funny in that vein of things? I get kind of accused lately of or interrogated on dating apps of being a catfish.
Oh.
People
I
will be
thought
like-
you're faking being
People will be like, "Are you
comedian.
actually Caleb Hearon?" And I'm like, it would be so crazy to choose to act like me. Like I do fine, but I'm not getting nearly enough ass for anyone to pretend to be me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Imagine being like, oh, I think I want a catfish. I think I'm gonna pick Caleb Hearon, a fat gay guy with like a little bit of attention. That's a crazy, crazy choice.
Yeah.
Every time it cracks me up. They go, "Is it really you? Prove it." I'm like, "What?
Prove it.
Prove it."
Yeah. What do you do?
I think if the proof is that the picture is not of Benny Skinner. That's the proof. Why would you pick me? Get a grip.
How's dating going?
You guys, I think I'm gonna have a good career. I think I like my relationship with my family. I've got good friendships. I think if things keep going well, I'll probably have a good like real estate portfolio. These are things I can look forward to in my life.
Yeah.
My love life is such a fucking joke.
What
A joke in what way?
Yeah.
The
Are
way
you-
where I'm not having a good one. It just like, I don't know, dude. I can't. Of course there's something wrong with me, but in an even bigger way, there's something wrong with everyone else, you know? And so that creates this sort of tornado of consequences where I go on 3 dates with a guy, the sex is fine or good even, and something's off, you know? He turns out to be a weirdo or annoying, or he lives in another city and I can't keep up the texting. There's just something, there's always something.
Would you rather have? Because you're kind of not bi-coastal. What would you say? Live? You're bi.
I'm bi.
You're bi.
I'm in Kansas City a lot. I'm in LA a lot. I'm in New York a lot, but I'm never anywhere enough to like build a thing.
Where do you think that guy would be in Kansas City? Are they in the business in some capacity or on the coast? Like
Ideally, I would find a guy in Kansas City. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
I give people way more chances there. I look much harder there. I would like to raise kids there. That's like a thing that I would like in my life. But I'm honestly considering a move to New York because I date so much more here.
really?
I can't walk down the street without getting laid in New York. And if I hit on someone in LA, they can euthanize me. They're legally allowed to euthanize me. Like LA versus New York dating for me. I don't know if it's going this way for everyone, but I date so much more in New York. It's insane.
Mm-hmm.
It's like really a huge difference. So I'm literally like, maybe I need to move to New York. I'm turning 30 in January. I have never been in a serious relationship. I'm like, maybe I just need to.
Is it refreshing when you date people? Are they a fan even in a light way of your work? Is it more does it feel more pure if they don't even know who the fuck you are?
I love that.
You do love that.
I love if they don't know who I am. I think that's
Sure.
awesome. And I try to keep it to myself for as long as I can. It's pretty hard because like you have to talk about why you're only in town for a week or like whatever.
Yeah.
I'll say that I work in communication a lot. If I have a real sense that they don't know who I am, and then I'll see, well, if it continues, I'll like kind of reveal stuff that they can Google if they want. I don't necessarily want a fan, but it's also hard because I have most gay people know who I am. Like my audience is very gay. I don't think there's a ton of gay people who don't know who I am, especially now that I'm doing a podcast again. Like the clips are out there and I have on guests who, it's just like, if there's somebody who's going to know who I am, it's a gay guy.
Yeah.
So it's a little tough that way. Not like I'm mega famous or something, but I have like a very specific kind of audience. I don't. So I'm not upset. If someone tells me that they know me, I'll still go on the date.
What do you think you struggle with? I mean, I understand there's what do you bring to a relationship that you challenge yourself on, or you go like, maybe I'm doing this.
How am I part of the problem of my current situation?
Yeah, problem is a very
well, it is a problem. We need to get to the bottom of it. No,
Sure.
What am I bringing? I travel a lot, and that really is a logistical problem. I also am. I'm like picky, I'm like, you need to like. I have all these. I definitely on a first date am sizing up in a way that I think is. I'm like, would my friends like you? Would my family like you? I'm very big on friends liking you, and I have a lot of different types of friends, and so I'm always kind of doing that math. I've never understood when your friends bring someone around, like if the friend brings a new boyfriend, girlfriend around, partner, and the friends don't like them. I can't believe they come around again. I go, why is that person not out of here? We don't like them. Get them out of here.
Yeah.
What is going on?
Do you say it to friends?
Every time.
You do.
Every time. If something's off, I will say on the first, and I'm trying to think of a time when I've been wrong.
But do they?
About that.
Do they? Would they? How do they respond? I mean, have you had friends be like, "Fuck,
Hey, fuck
you.
you."
I'm still gonna date this person." Oh.
Yeah. Well, it's never fuck you, but I definitely have had friends be like, I love you and you love me and I like this person and I need you to give them a chance. And I'm like, I'm giving them a chance. I'm not gonna like not come to dinner because they're there, but I'm telling you, the vibe is off, and I'm gonna be mean to them if they're weird.
Yeah.
I'm gonna treat them the way they deserve to be treated. Because sometimes people bring someone around that it's like, yeah, they're hot, but they're fucking rude. Or whatever the thing is. And I'm like, I'm not putting up with that just because you want to fuck a hot person. If I meet a hot person who's rude, I fuck them in private. I don't bring them to group dinner. You could do me that kindness as well.
Yeah.
That's how I always felt with my dad with some of the women he dated over the years. I was like, does she have to come to Thanksgiving?
Fuck her and leave
fuck
her.
her and leave
over
her.
there.
Yeah.
Fuck her over there.
Fuck her over there. Don't bring. I'm like, really, don't bring them to group dinner.
Yeah.
That was an old joke that was too harsh. Where I'd be like, "Thanks for bringing your fleshlight to dinner,
Oh
Dad."
my
And she
God.
was
Jesus.
not.
Gianmarco.
I was young and I was angry.
Thanks for
and-
your cunt bitch.
Yeah, truly.
So
God, these fucking useless women you bring around. Ugh.
Every once in a while, it was comical. It was like just I remember one woman, and I just met her at dinner, and she came an hour late, and she was just coughing the whole time.
Not coughing.
And it was just like, listen, maybe she's ill, but it was just
she
like
definitely was
what-
ill.
John Walker's like, this stupid bitch has the common cold. What the fuck are you thinking bringing that whore over here? She has seasonal allergies?
Do you want kids?
Yeah.
He said he wanted.
Oh, you did. Forgive
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
How many?
Ideally, it's funny because I really do. I've always wanted kids. I love kids, and I think I would like 3 kids. I think that'd be great.
Could you ever be such a mogul? You've talked about owning a lot of real estate, that you could just have kids in a community and your mom's there and you be a single dad?
Oh, I've thought about it. It's getting to that point. I mean, I don't know. I feel like the thing is that when I think about having kids more these days, I'm like, I think it's got to be not soon, but I'm definitely already getting too comfortable to imagine uprooting my life in that way. Like the selflessness you have to have kids, at least to some extent.
Yeah, sure.
I'm like, wow, am I actually going to be capable of that? I really like doing whatever I want all the time. I don't even like doing my job. I mean, I hate doing things.
Yeah.
Coming here was a nightmare.
Yeah.
I hate every time if I have to go to a sold out show where I know I'm going to have fun. I go, I guess, because I'm in the moment. Anything that's on my calendar, I don't want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What free money and blowjob convention? I'd be like, oh, God, that.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I like doing. It feels oppressive to have things you have to do.
Yeah.
I'm so bad with authority that I rebel against myself when I'm in charge. Like, why did you fucking tell you have to do? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. The kids thing gets a little tricky.
It will be tricky.
Yeah. 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 But I like to believe I can overcome it. Are you going to have kids?
No way.
No, I wish you would.
No way.
You'd be such a good dad.
I like kids, but I sometimes the thing, we're going to spend more time in LA next year. I want to be around people with kids more. I feel like that's a little bit more in LA. More people are settling down there than New York. I just feel like I want to be around kids when it's not just all fun and I'm visiting and hi, oh my God. Like I want to be around kids when it's annoying just to feel what it's like to have. I just haven't had it for the last, ask me if I want to have kids like saying like, do you want a kangaroo? I'm like, I don't know what that entails really.
Yeah.
I've just seen it once a year.
I think I've got the intimate look.
I have to.
Yeah.
I have,
and I think you have, and I love
nephews
kids. I just know I love them like in that like oh it's so cute and sweet at a wedding holding a baby.
Yeah,
but just really dealing with it, and it's hard in New York, at least with my current friend group.
I just know that I just know that I have 2 dogs now, and there are times where I'm so thankful I can just put that dog in another room and be like, shut up, like just like, and you can't ignore a human, you know what I mean? Like you can't just be like, and I know I think I'm good at it. I mean, I one of my first jobs in New York, I was helping this kid and I was good at it. I'm good at it, but my like how I want to live my life.
The vagueness with which you described that job.
No, I was good at it. I mean, I'm a patient, kind person. I'm very also aware of like, I hate when I see parents not wanting to answer a question because it's hard with a kid, and they just say something that's not true to like shut them up or blah blah blah, and then it's like, no, like you're teaching them fucking everything, so teach them. You have to, if you're gonna be a parent, you have to take the time to like do it. And so I see that stuff, and so when I'm in with kids, I'm very conscious of that. But I just know how I feel, and I'm like, this is not how I want to live my life. Like it feels very oppressive to me.
Are you okay? Here's a question for you two. Are you guys happy?
Sometimes.
I think
I am more so, but I am anxious, and I get in phases where what I'm struggling with now is I don't know when I'm happy versus when I'm like, oh, I have something and I know that it's okay right now, and it's like I have a gig and a thing and blah blah blah, and then when I don't have it, I'm like anxious for the next thing.
So
and
is
I'm
that
like,
dichotomy happy versus busy, or
am I just associating busy with like happiness? Does that make sense?
It totally does. Yeah.
Because right now I'm in a phase of like, oh, I don't have anything right now, and I have time, which is what I was desperately wanting, and that's why I was like, okay, I want to get out of the show, so I have some time, and I am feeling anxious because I'm like, but I'm like, do I need, like, is that going to help? You know, because I've been having nice nights and time off, and so it's like I'm having to retrain my body to be like, busy doesn't mean happy. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. I get that.
I think busy can mean happy sometimes.
It can.
I'm just very skeptical of the concept of like big overall happy. I think people churn through life, and I'm a mix. I feel fulfilled sometimes, and sometimes I have deep dips, and I think sometimes it's connected to my circumstances, and sometimes it's just chemistry in my brain being miserable. But when I'm busy, whenever I do stand-up, I think the reason is like whenever I do stand-up, it's like a drug that resets my mood when it goes well.
And is it good to be a drug addict?
Is it good to be a drug addict?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's the question.
This is what we're asking.
Yeah.
And what about, because you, like, just based off social media, it seems like you live, at least from my perspective, I look at your life and I go, oh, that's a life.
What do you mean?
Friends.
You have friends?
You can go, hey, house party at my place tonight, and it's full. It's filled. If I went on Instagram right now and said a house party, I'd say, Russell, please come. I don't think anyone else is coming. It's you foster community. You foster community. Thank you. House party, 3 people maximum, fire code. But you have a community, and you spend a lot of time to like build it. And I'm very envious of it, but also knowing that like I get so anxious about my own shit, I don't make the time to even build that thing.
Yeah.
And in a way, and I think guys do this a lot, straight guys with their partner, is like Tova is better at community building. I think, there's plenty of married people, our parents' generation, where the guy has no fucking friends.
Yeah.
And the wife is the one bringing the people for the dinner party and whatnot. And in a way, I think Tova has lent me, or I'm involved. I mean, I know you via Tova. I know Tova's friends via Tova. I know. So I get jealous of that. But what about you? Are you happy?
Yeah, I think so. But I have the same issue that you bring up of like, what even is that worth? Like, or what does that mean? Like, what is happy? Like, I don't think it's this thing you can be. I don't always feel happy. There are days when I'm very like sad or upset or what. Like this, happy is a feeling, I guess, not really a state of being. But I think, yeah, I'm very lucky with people. I've always had very good people in my life, and I do now as well. And I think I attract good people who are like kind-hearted and warm. So I do feel that I have community in all the places I really spend time, like New York, LA, and Kansas City. I think I have good community. These days I'm really I don't want to say busy because my every minute of my day is not booked, but I'm definitely doing worse these days about like maintaining individual relationships.
It's brutal.
Yeah.
It's hard.
It's
dude.
really hard.
And I can feel people being not necessarily annoyed with me. I mean, maybe that is the case. I would be open to that, but I can feel people like reaching out and being like, where the fuck are you, dude? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm like everywhere and nowhere.
Yeah.
Individual relationships. That's why I was just telling someone, I don't know if this was on a podcast or what, but I was just talking to friends about how that's why I throw so many parties these days. Is because I'm like,
sure,
I'm in town for 2 weeks. I am not going to see the 500 people I would like to see. Here's a time where you can come and see me and I can see you. And if you can't make it, maybe next time. Because I used to schedule every minute of my day seeing people and catching up and doing early coffee, late coffee, breakfast, early lunch, late lunch, coffee, dinner, and I would see everyone. And I felt much more individually connected. Like I'd be like, man, me and Russell are really on a good page right now because I made time for that lunch. I cannot do it anymore. And so I don't know. It's interesting. I feel.
Yeah. Then when you do the party thing, you're like, okay, I checked the box that I saw them, but it is that thing of like when you have your wedding or you have like something that you're the host of, and you're like, oh, I never got a meaningful thing with anyone.
Yeah.
But sometimes is that feeling, and
you spend the whole time hosting too. I'm running around. I'm getting people drinks. I'm introducing. I'm like, these two people.
You're singing a lot.
I'm singing a lot. These people don't
karaoke.
Yeah.
There was a
I had tattoo artists.
Oh wow!
At my last house party. Yeah, I like to host. But I try to bring people together. For me, the best part about hosting is going, these two people who came don't know anybody. I'm going to introduce them to everybody.
Yeah.
And then I let them run on, and then I have to go do more. So yeah, it's not really. I don't really catch up with people.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Do you guys know what I mean, though? The individual thing is getting so much harder.
I do. I feel like I prided myself for a long time on being like a good friend, and I've felt like I've not been there for certain things or certain people in a way, and I'm like, I truly don't know how to I don't know how to fix it, and it's not even like anyone's asking me to fix it, but it is a thing of like, oh, I feel like I'm letting people down. Just because I'm like, I don't know, I'm busy, I'm doing stuff, and it's
I mean, I tell people all the time. I mean, part of the reason I wanted Russell to do the podcast. This is the way that I'm trying to like figure out like my life. In a way, it was like, well, here's a friend. I want to. I mean, other than wanting to do a podcast for creative and artistic reasons, but there was certainly a degree for me of like, I want to be able to spend time with this person, and then the fear of, are you just spending time in a work-related space? But that was part of it for me, certainly, to just be like, here's a way I can. I mean, it's my fucked up way of trying to somehow not let go of all the work ethic I want to do, but still mix in the social. I mean, Tova and I, we have a very creative, worky aspect of our relationship too. So especially friends outside of it completely, very hard to find that time. I always fantasize about throwing a game night. I'm always like, I want to be in my fantasy. I'm like, once a month, I have a game night.
I don't want to go to a game.
And I know he doesn't. He hates
I don't like games either.
I don't like
games.
I
hate you too.
I don't like games either. Can I actually tell you something?
Okay.
My friend got so mad at me because I told a joke about this like last year. I was at a friend's. It was a friend's party.
Uh-huh.
It was just supposed to be a house party. Okay.
Oh.
And it's in LA, so it's me and I want to say 47 lesbians,
Uh-huh.
and we're all chit chatting and talking about their Subarus and whatever else, and it starts to turn into a game night. Right, and I was already planning on leaving. I'd been there for about an hour.
Has
and a
it
half.
turned to again as someone drops a die and goes like, "What does
Pretty
that
much.
say?"
I'd been there for an hour and a half and people were going, hey, gather up in the living room. We're going to play. And they were doing like Jenga or fucking Mafia or something as I'm like putting on my shoes. And I said on stage, I felt like somebody who forgot their keys on the day. I couldn't find their keys on the day of 9/11. Like I felt like when me leaving right before game night, the relief I felt going down the stairs and hearing everybody be like, gather up
for the rules.
They're going to explain the rules.
Oh,
I walking down the stairs, I was like, freedom. I was like, oh my God, I just watched the tower fall, you know, like,
and it was just a Jenga tower.
Truly. But there's still the smoke and everyone's getting sick. Yeah. I felt so, and my friend was very much like, that was a party that I threw and I was excited to have you there. And she wasn't being serious. She totally gets, but I hate games. I hate games.
Why?
Them.
Can you explain it to me?
I hate them.
Yeah.
I love
fucking
having
annoying.
I love having a little bit of structure, a little bit of a common goal.
I want to like
a little bit of competition, a little bit of a ooh.
Let me find a conversation I want to be in. Let me find a conversation I don't want to be in. That's the game.
What if you can't?
Let me find some food I want. Let me I don't want to. We're not in school. We're not in fucking school. We're not in college.
So no games. Wait, so there's no joy to a game?
Get him, Russell.
There's no games.
No, I don't want to win. I'm going to win. I'm going to win.
No, we're not taking it serious for fun. You win.
I don't.
Ooh, you feel a little bit of stakes. You feel life and death without the death.
Most I can do is like a Pictionary kind of like act out thing.
Pictionary, the charades?
But I don't really like any of it.
What game are you comparing to a lesser tragedy than 9/11? What game are you comparing to just bad traffic?
Like maybe like Jackbox games on the TV can be kind of fun.
Ugh, that's my
you
least
can get high
favorite
and
kind
sit
of game.
there and you can write your little guesses and you get to see what your friends. Here's the deal. Here, you know what? You asked me what's not fun about games. I'll fucking tell you, brother.
Okay.
At every gathering, there is at least I don't know what 30%, 20 to 30% of the people there I don't want to talk to.
Yes.
And so then the game forces me to be in unison with them.
Well, now you know why I like games, Caleb. Because that's when people have to talk to me.
But you do fine talking to people. I don't, you don't need it.
I've gotten better over the
years. You don't need this
sure.
crutch. I don't.
It's not a crutch. It's fun. It's fun.
My the way you're acting right now about this, like my. Last night, my agent took me to a concert of one of her other clients, and she was so stressed to take me because this is how I behave. This is how I am. I'm very critical, and I like just what I like. And she was like, "If you don't think you're gonna like it, I'm so stressed to bring you." And I was like, "I'm gonna go, and we'll see if I like it."
I went to a concert last night. It was like October 7th.
She's like,
she was stressed out of her mind to take me, and I had a great time.
Were you gonna start booing? Like,
well, no, just that I was gonna be like,
yeah.
Yeah. And I will be like that if I don't like something. It's not nice. I'm working on, but it was never something she should have worried about. I liked this person a lot that we were going to see, and I knew I would have a good time.
So if Tova and I threw a big game night, would you decline?
I don't know that I would do, probably, but only because if you threw it in New York, I'm only in New York usually for like 8 days at a time, and I'm certainly not spending one of my nights doing that.
It would be so fun. Tova and I are on the same page.
Just have
with
a
games.
party.
It is a party.
You should do. Okay, this is what you should do. You should do either before or after. You should have 2 parties. You should section it off where we're going to be doing game
Party's
night.
over. We're doing games now.
Yeah.
And you shuffle out.
Or make like an enrichment area for people like me and Russell where we can be like, they're going to play games. We're going to sit and chat.
That is the thing too, is because you get harassed by people when you're like, I don't want to play.
Yeah.
And they're like, and they treat you like you're an asshole or you're like, and you're like, no, I just don't want, I don't like it. I didn't like it when I was a kid. And to be nearly 40 and still being forced to play games, I didn't like this when I was 5. Why? Like, I'm gonna spend the rest of my life
watching sporting events because we are on the same page. We are not with sports at all.
I think you guys would be very into watching Chiefs games at my watch parties.
I like a party is fine. Like, but I'm not gonna follow all the things. I'm not gonna know the players and things like that.
You're gonna be wanting to talk and we'll be like, shh, it's 4th down.
No, you would like my watch parties. You would get to know the players. You would be surprised the number of girls and gays that I have brought in that now they were just the way you guys are talking. They were just like you guys being like, I'm never gonna,
just like the gays.
Truly, you guys are like, I'm never gonna know the wide end's name, the tight receiver.
I played football. I know the rules.
Yeah,
but I don't know the play. Like I didn't.
You're gonna like the Chiefs if you come to my watch party. It's a lot about the food. And it's a lot about commenting on who's the hottest. We just got a couple new hot guys for this season. I'm really excited about. Yeah, you would like it, I think.
I do love the food. like football food.
Oh my God. I make chicken wings every week.
Oh.
My chicken wings are incredible. We make like rotel, like spicy sausage, queso dip. It's a good
Got
time.
carrots for this one.
Drink Dr. Peppers.
Carrots for
We'll
me.
have some carrots. Oh yeah. One of the vegetarians always brings something stupid like a veggie
I'll
tray.
bring it. I'll bring a veggie tray.
Yeah. And I think that's beautiful.
Yeah.
They tell you the thing that the veggie tray that's got to go is the broccoli.
I thought you
The-
could say
the-
the radish, like the little radishes.
Oh, I love the radishes.
I do
are better,
too.
but like a
Broccoli,
fully
you don't like
uncooked broccoli,
Oh, I love
with no sauce.
Well, you can dip it in sauce or hummus or something.
Hummus, if the hummus is there, but that stock is
Even still.
that stock is thick.
Yeah.
I like it more than celery. I'm not a big celery.
Really?
Oh, I prefer
Yeah.
celery.
I don't like the stringies.
Yeah, they get stuck in your teeth.
You
That's
know?
no worries.
Yeah.
What's your guys'
No worries.
What's your guys' favorite veggie to dip? Mine's cucumber.
Oh,
But too wet, too watery for
Not
me.
if you do it right. Next.
Red peppers,
Cucumber's good.
really hard. If it's really
I like
ripe.
green peppers.
Green peppers.
But I also like I like carrots.
Green is at the bottom. Red, orange, yellow.
I don't like any of those. I don't like raw peppers.
Mm.
Oh, there's
I don't super love cooked peppers. I like spicy. Like I like a pepper, like a spice.
Mhm.
sure.
But like eating a raw red pepper, when I see someone do that, I'm like, okay.
Let's go on to our next segment.
Oh, you're cutting me off on veggie trays? Okay, no,
No, let's
worries.
go deeper. What else? Let's
What
list them
else?
all.
Let's go deeper.
Let's go deeper.
How deep can we get on veggie trays?
I also feel bad because Gianmarco was like, yeah, I guess I don't feel like I have community and it's my girlfriend brings a lot of community. I'd love to throw a game night. And then I was like, "Bah!"
I know, me too.
I'd rather fucking die than come to your game night. I would come to your game night, but you have to tell me how important. Actually, can I say something? This is something I want to tell a lot of people, grown adults. Listen to me. People not telling you that something's important to them and then expecting you to know. I can't know. Like if you have a show, I'm never going to care if someone comes to my show. I have never once had a show that I cared if my friends came. Or if you have a party, like if you're like, oh, it'd be really important to me that you came to this.
Yeah.
I'm never going to guess. You have to tell me. If you told me game night was important to you, I would be there.
I did that recently for a show with Uncle Function. I think I was like, my friends haven't seen me do stand up in a very, very long time. And I told them, I said, this was important.
That's nice.
And they all came.
That's really nice and necessary because I think people will get their feelings hurt. I'm like, you got it. If you tell me, I'll be there.
Yeah.
But you can't not tell me and then expect me to know because I don't care about things in that way.
That was Tova's advice because I was just like,
That's good advice.
I was like, they've never seen my thing.
Yeah.
That's really good advice. Tova's good at talking people off a ledge or talking
Yeah.
people into the right. She has
Sure.
to talk me into the right headspace a lot.
Yeah.
She's ultimately my manager, but
Ultimately,
Yeah,
I could see dating her being nice. She's good at that.
she is.
Yeah.
I'm happy that she got you there. And did it work out? Did they come?
We all came.
They all came.
Good.
It really one friend in particular. It'd been a long time.
Yeah.
Long time.
Well, it can't be a technique, right? It can't be to dry. It has to be a genuine. You can only cash that in every once in a while.
Sure.
You can't have a "this is so important to me" every week.
But I think that's the thing when you date. I say the thing with being friends with artists, dating artists. There's 1,000 ways to let them down.
Oh yeah.
Like especially if you have a parent, if you're a parent and your kid's a theater kid, it's like, well, how many of these shows do I have to go to?
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, if you do a run of Hedda Gabler in high school, like, do I have to go to
Oh my
all
God.
8 shows?
No.
Had a
Two?
Gabbler.
One.
Newsflash: she kills herself at the end.
If I
I
had a
saw
kid,
that one time on stage and I was like, some of those plays they still
Hedda
do
Gabler is a good one
Fine,
of those
whatever.
old ones.
You know what? I'm going to say something here on this podcast.
What?
I have never done a musical or a play. Never once in my life.
Crazy.
I would like to. I want someone to write one for me or put me in one or something.
Do you have any idea, any musical come to mind of what role you'd play?
I don't know musicals, and I think musical people can sense that on me, and they're not going to like that about me. But I'll work really hard and I'll learn, and I want to be in something. I don't think I want to. I think maybe a play more than a musical. Although I
think
do
we
like
could
to
get you in
sing.
real quick.
I think someone just put me in something, or I'd love for someone to write something for me, like write me a nice little show.
Yeah.
My experience
Okay.
with this podcast is there's not a lot of casting directors watching or making offers. No one's ever booked anything off this podcast yet, but if you're the first, that would be great.
You don't know that,
Broadway play right away.
and you could clip this up. You guys are in charge of the clips.
We could play brothers. We could play.
I would love to play something with you, Russell.
We could do it on Broadway.
True West.
True West.
True West is
What's
a
that?
two-brother.
True
It's a
West.
two-brother, like brutal.
Really?
Philip Seymour Hoffman and John C. Reilly did it, and they switched roles
And
every other night.
One's kind of like wild and out of control, and the other is like kind of like
Heady intellectual.
intellectual and trying to
Which one do you want to play more?
I think we should do the thing where we switch off. You
Oh,
know?
I don't know.
You'd
if
be
I
the
wanna
heady
do
one,
that.
he'd
I think
he'd
you'd
be
be the
the
heady
one.
one. I'd be the crazy one. I think just because I have long hair right now. And
Yeah,
and
your
I,
long
like,
hair is
yell,
really part
you
of
know,
it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got so
No,
excited
tell me.
about that. I just got so excited about that.
Read it.
I would love to do something with you, Russell. Wait, actually, I was thinking of you the other day in a roundabout way because I went to Largo, in LA to see a show, and I was like on the list, and I love Largo. I go there all the time. I know the staff there, but there was a guy working the door who I didn't know, which I didn't think would be any worries. I thought maybe he would know me. And I walk up and I had a date with me, and it was like a third date, and I had made a
last date.
Well, ended up being, but his terms, not mine. I really like that guy.
Oh,
but I kind of made a big deal about being like, hey, this show is sold out, but I'm gonna get us on the list. You know, I was like I kind of made a thing about being like, I'm kind of a guy here. You know,
Yeah.
not a big thing, but just enough, enough for this to be more embarrassing.
yeah.
And I get to the door, and he goes, hey man, I'm so sorry. I see you walking over here, and I know you, but I don't have your name on the list. So let me just text really quick. It's Gad, right? He thought I was Josh Gad. He thought I was Josh Gad. And I said,
my God.
I said, hey, I would love to have Josh Gad money, but I don't have Josh Gad money, and it's just Caleb, in fact.
Yeah.
And then I just went and saw the show.
Gad, right?
Oh
Oh
man,
man,
Gad, right? And he said it so confidently that I was like, oh, me and Gad must be giving much more. I think I'm taller than him.
way taller.
Maybe if he gets a Broadway show, you could understudy him too.
Yeah.
I get a Broadway show, and Russell understudies me.
That's like the one time they thought when I was going to see you, they thought I was Tim Dillon. And I was
At
like,
Comics
I wanted
Mohegan
them to
Sun.
bump, like, how funny would if they bumped you for me?
I told him if he had
Just
gone
Tim
up
Dillon.
and just fucking did it. Can you tell that one thing that someone told you the other day about the musical you should be in? I think it's been long enough.
Oh God. Oh my
Say
God. Okay, so this was back in the Titanic days. And you know, you come out of the show, and sometimes there's people to sign or blah blah, and there's this group of people, and they're like very excited to take a photo and get a signature, and they're saying nice things, and then right before I go, it could have all been great,
Yeah.
and then right before I go, this woman goes, she goes, and if there's ever Family Guy the musical on Broadway, you're gonna be Peter Griffin. I was like, and then you're just like walking to the subway, like you're like, oh man, like everything had been going well, great show, killer show. Come out, there's a crowd of people, and then this thing, and you're just walking alone to the subway. Jabba! If there's ever Star Wars, it's gonna be Jabba. We love you, Jabba! No prosthetics, just you without your shirt on.
Yes, White Medea. Yes, White Medea works. God damn, that sucks. I do love, there's all these, they make Peter gay in so many episodes. I love Family Guy, first of all, but they make Peter gay, and all the screenshots of gay Peter I keep on my phone, because it literally is just how it's me.
Maybe it was more that. That was the thing.
Yeah, you're gay. You seem gay. Is that better? You like that better?
Yeah, I mean, she saw me in Titanic. Yeah, of course. Yeah,
Just the gay aspect of Peter.
Just gay Peter. Can you imagine? She's like, if they ever do Family Guy the musical, you play gay. You play gay Peter. Someone else for straight Peter, and then I just come out.
They have Tim Dillon for straight Peter. Have you play gay Peter?
You got our next segment. This has got to stop.
This has got to stop.
We only have 6 minutes. Then you got to run.
Oh God.
Yeah, something like that. You want me to say mine?
Is super tight? Run. You tell me.
Enough. I mean, I have to go to lunch,
Okay.
but my friend can wait a little bit.
What's your this has got to stop?
Well, I wonder if this is too common, because your guys' producer in the email does say avoid common topics. So I'll try not to offend Paige. It is Paige, right? I didn't make that up.
Yeah.
That'd be so humiliating if I made that up. Love you, Paige.
By the way, recently I said my mom's birthday on an episode, and I realized that I messed up the date, and so we added ADR after the fact of me saying the correct birthday.
Oh,
you're like talking like this, and it's like June 12th.
And one commenter noticed it, and I was like, "That was very you got it."
They will, dude. They'll notice shit that you can't even.
Yeah,
they'll notice shit you can't even believe. Like there are little tiny things about our set is changing on my show a lot because we're still figuring it out, and we'll change the tiniest thing, and they'll be like, bring back the doily cloth that was under the right cup. I'm like, good God.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Thank you for your dedication.
If they notice here the Uncle Function frame broke, we're gonna fix it. So what's your this has got to stop?
Well, yes, I don't know if this
traffic.
Well, I will say, okay, this is not mine, but I will say on the traffic travel of it all, need to put some hard limits on two things at the airport. Number one, TSA pre-check, more stringent requirements.
Yeah.
Make it more expensive if you have to. I don't care. Price people out. The lines are getting too long.
It's the same now.
It's the same now.
Yeah.
And I know
now they have clear, and now they have, this is the most TSA plus clear. So if you have both, that's the faster line sometimes.
I have clear and I have global entry. I'm approved to go and finalize it. I just need to make time to get to the airport and do it.
I used, for the first time in my life, global entry came into use, and it was still fucking an hour long line. Yeah. And I was like, okay, it's just a constant.
And the Delta Lounge. The Delta Lounge.
Tell me, let's talk about that. Everyone
was mad when Delta recently tightened up requirements a little bit. I was like, make it tighter. I'm like, I've never been a pro border person. I'm about to get on a 4-wheeler and start checking people's papers at the Delta Lounge. I am so fucking tired of these animals and the way they behave in there. These people that should not, what are you travel twice a year? How are you in here? They don't know how to move. Their suitcase is too big. They're like wearing clothes that aren't, they're like truly, they've got like 6 sweaters that they're taking off at the buffet. Have a system, bitch. I cannot believe there was a woman in the Delta Lounge the other day wearing a shirt that said Buck Fightin'. If you own merch like that and you wear it to the airport. Well, I did make a joke to my friend. I was like, I wonder if it's also the Israel stuff, which is like, of course it's not. No one who ever wears something like that hates those guys for the reason I do. It's always something insane where they're like, he wants transgenders to be nurses or some, crazy shit. But we've got to tighten up. But my real this has got to stop is this. Restaurants that won't seat you until the full party is there.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, why do they do that? I've always wondered why. And I imagine it's because sometimes people, they sit and then the person never comes and then they lost a seat.
I don't think it's that. I think it's that they're worried that sometimes when you're waiting on a friend, you say it's going to be 5 minutes and actually it's 20. And so you're taking up a table for longer without whatever. That's not going to happen with me. If I'm sitting and my friend's waiting 20 minutes, I'm ordering our drinks. I'm ordering an appetizer. I will behave. Like you can maybe put a rule on it. Like comedy clubs have a 2-drink minimum. Maybe you say, hey, if you're going to sit without your full party, you do have to order apps or something. Yeah. I get the table turnover and the servers needing to turn tables to make tips and the restaurant needing to whatever. Do not make me stand in a fucking foyer because my friend is 5 minutes late. Yeah. Put me at that goddamn table and bring me a Dr. Pepper.
I think it's hard with 2 people because I know with like if it's like you're multiple people and there's like 2 people are missing out of a group of 6 or something, I just say yes.
Yeah.
And then they don't really look, and you sit down, and then there's 2 more, and then they're like, oh, and then you're like, oh, they're coming, and so you just kind of like.
It's especially egregious when it's
but
a
if it's
restaurant
2, you can't really
where
get around
it's
that.
Not crowded. I went to one recently where Tova was a little bit late, and it was empty.
Yeah,
and I'm like, well. So the reason this rule was created doesn't apply here at all. Yeah. You can sit me down.
You can put me over there.
You can put me over there. 100 people aren't going to show up on this Monday night suddenly.
One time in Chicago, this is the genesis of me hating this rule. I went to a cafe that I went to all the time. It was this late night diner that I would sit and write at like 2 a.m. I was there. I would go on Sunday mornings, Wednesday nights. I was always at this place. And I kind of knew the staff. And there was this one server who was, I love servers and I love retail workers. And I'm normally not like this. She was a huge bitch. And she had a constant attitude problem that was persistent and horrible. And she was immune to my charms as well, which of course upset me. And I go in one time and there's 3 of us and a 4th friend is coming. And so we need a table for 4. And she goes, is your whole party here? And I go, oh yeah. And she sits us, and then our 4th person comes in late and comes and sits with us. We've already ordered. We ordered their drink. We ordered their food because we know what they wanted. This server sent me a DM on Instagram.
No way.
We do not follow each other. I did not have a bunch of followers. I was not like famous. I was just a regular dude who I don't even know if she knew I was a comedian. Like found me personally, probably from my name on the receipt, found me on Instagram and DM'd me and was like, how fucking dare you? The way you lied to me today. The adults don't lie to each other. Like to come in that restaurant is my community. That's my home and my family. And like the fact that you came into my home and lied to my face, like really, I mean, it was insane. And I don't think that's obviously normal, but.
Now, would you write back something devastating?
No, I think I wrote back and I was like, hey, I'm really sorry that made you feel that way. Like I was apologetic.
I'm getting pummeled.
I'm getting We're getting pummeled at the cafe, y'all.
Let's go to our final segment.
You better count your blessing.
You better count your blessing. You got a blessing?
Yeah, shout out to my landlord, Tigran. He has been redoing our roof, so we're not going to have all the leaks that we've been having when we get these tsunamis that we get now every like couple weeks. And he refloored the whole thing. It looks nice, and yeah.
Hear that? Put the guillotine away, guys. We got a good landlord.
Hey, we found him. We found the good one.
Yeah, well, no, he's a little different. He owns the apartment that I live in, so he's the condo owner. So he's not like he's like a landlord of like he owns my one.
A-Lab.
Yeah,
A-Lab for me. All landlords are bastards. Don't care if he owns the condo or the whole building. Sorry, Tigran.
Yeah,
come around me and you're getting your shit rocked.
My blessing. I'll shoot out to my my opener, Liam Nelson. Very last minute, I decided I wanted to film a set, but like an upgraded, like for a special release, a micro special of sorts. And he did it incredibly at a comedy club in Rhode Island, and very impressive, very incredible that he's able to put this together, fly people out, film it, edit it. So Liam Nelson, follow him.
Yeah.
Do you have a blessing?
I do. Many. I'm blessed beyond words. But here's what this is what I'll do. I'm in town this trip I'm doing a show, but I'm going to a premiere of a movie I was in that's an indie movie. And so they didn't have a budget to like put me up nice or anything. And so my friend Issa Medina, a very funny comedian, she has a beautiful apartment in Williamsburg that she's out of town right now, letting me stay in her apartment all week for free.
Wow.
Very nice.
And that is a New York moment where if you can't be at a hotel, which is my preference, that you get a friend who lets you stay at their place for free and they're not even there, that there's a good gift card coming Issa's way. I'll tell you that.
Well, this used to be, Tova and I shared this, and there was a guest room over here. And recently, Tova came over, and that room was filled with merch and wires and mics, and we decided this is now
both decided
financially
together.
completely my place.
Yeah.
She said, "Hey, love you. No,
Yeah.
not paying for your merch house anymore."
Your merch house. Your
And I was like,
podcast
it's not
studio.
on the bed. It's fine.
Yeah.
Let me add the blessing, Tova too. Tova was very supportive for this filming I had to do. Made myself do. But it can't be you every time, sweetheart. But it always is.
It was always you.
It was always you.
Also.
Caleb, where can people find you?
Hey y'all, it's Caleb Hearon, your boy. You can find me at Caleb Says Things on everything. Follow me if you want. I actively hate the internet, but do listen to my podcast, especially on YouTube. So True podcast. Gianmarco's episode is coming out
2 days.
Probably 2 days from now.
Yeah.
Please listen to the podcast and share it. I really, really need you to.
Yeah.
I hope you move to New York. It'll be
Yeah.
We shall see.
We got
Do it.
game night with your name on it.
If you tell me it matters, I'll come to game night. Russell and I both, and we'll play Parcheesi or whatever the fuck.
I think if there's a limit, an hour limit to the games,
Putting a limit on the friendship.
I just want to play charades. That's my main one.
Okay.
That's the worst. I mean, that's tough.
You just want to act.
I just want to act.
I want you guys to watch me do
Somebody give me a
games.
roll.
Gianmarco, you want a self-tape.
All the things I write down are like acting roles of Salieri and Amadeus. That's my charades. Where can people find you?
At Russell J. Daniels. I'm getting pummeled on Instagram. I need those followers, baby. And then come to our tour. Plug it.
You plug it.
Okay. I don't know the dates exactly.
Jesus Christ. July 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th. We are doing, again, DC, Philly, Boston,
New York City
God.
Winery.
And it's going to be big. And again, I know not a lot of you don't live there. I know some of you live in Dublin or Rhode Island. If you live in Rhode Island, you can make it to Boston.
India.
A lot in India. Listen, figure out a way to help us sell this.
Over here.
And then one day we'll get to India.
Yeah.
It's deep in the list.
Yeah.
That's far away. But enjoy the Patreon. Patreon.com/downside. I know a lot of you are on the verge of it. It helps us so we can start touring more and more. Patreon.com/downside. And this weekend, I will be in Portland, Oregon. And then the weekend after that, Panama City Beach. Maybe, unless we cancel it. I hope we don't. But who knows? And, vote for RFK Jr. That's our official position. And support the Jimmy Kimmel Show.
God.
This is The Downside.
1, 2, 3. Downside. You're listening to The Downside
The downside.
with Gianmarco Soresi.